it's extra dimensional, because you can't confirm any of that, well, physically anyway. But it's just very hard to find some kind of logical physical structure that conforms to things that we can actually measure and everything.
Yeah.
But I really think it is like that, and I kind of remember from FE Core that one of these guys also pretty much said that, and even had a rough model of it.
5 minutes.
What was it? I don't know, it's some time ago. I don't really look a lot into their material, but every time I do get impressed.
Oh, I had a meetup last night with someone that I had never met before. He went to the church where my family went out in California, so he knew my mom and my sister, and he relocated out like 10 minutes away from me. So we met up last night for a beer and we're chatting, and I was showing him some of my footage with the moon and talking to him about the new moon, and I was talking to him about the anomaly that was coming up with the new moon, being missing and being up in the sky at the same time. And I was saying, if you just think about it, if the sun is out and the moon is supposed to reflect the light of the sun, and I said that over like 3 times as a way of emphasizing what I was saying. And he said, "Are you talking about flat Earth?" And I said, "What?" I said, "Well, it's going to be related to it, yeah. But actually, I was just talking about the new moon. But yeah, so what do you think about it?" He would not engage. He's like, "That has no interest in me whatsoever." He's like, I just don't care." I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
You've been excommunicated.
No. I mean, we had a great time talking the rest of the time and whatnot. But even
talk
late
about that, right? I have to know a guy like that too. It just doesn't.
Yeah, but his point was like, it doesn't interest me. I'm like, so if our world isn't what they told us, that doesn't interest you? He's like, no. I'm like, wow, that's just so bizarre to me.
Well, it's a good defense mechanism.
Hey, Anthony.
To keep yourself safe.
Whoa. Come on, Tony.
Whoa, why are you lot so quiet?
Oh, is it us now instead of you?
Someone's turned my speakers right down. Say something, Travis.
I'm going to say something right now to test your speakers.
That's working. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, clear as crystal.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm trying to get Roxanne to join. You know Roxanne Glenn?
3 minutes.
Satan?
Roxanne?
I'm trying to get Roxanne to join. Because I've never ever seen her in chat. And I said, come and join the panel today. I said, ignore the trolls. I said, it'll be fine. And she's trying to get on. Well, she has the link. I don't know whether she will come on. She said she's having a duvet day today.
She's having a duvet day? What does that mean?
Duvet day means you stay in bed and don't do anything.
Oh, duvet.
I thought it was like Eric Dubay day, watching Eric Dubay videos.
Like, no, not a duvet day, no.
The duvet day.
Yeah,
I'm having a duvet day.
Time of the week that you watch Eric Dubay videos nonstop.
Binging duvet.
Other people have like manga day. They watch manga like on one day, like hours. It's like the only day they allow themselves to do that. Because otherwise they be watching all the time and like skipping jobs.
Anybody seen the moon?
Nope.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm overcast as fuck. I can't see fuck all.
Piss me off. The next 3 days it's cloudy.
No shit.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if the next 3 days were heavy chemtrail days.
Well, we're gonna have to hit Jose up. He's gotta be our savior, because I'm sure Texas will be having some clear. Excuse me.
You
Jose's
just gotta
light
get
video
your
is fantastic.
Orcon blast.
Awesome,
your
innit?
Orcon blaster
Genius.
Ready. Just blast the chemtrails away.
Sunsets are explained now, Nathan.
Say
Don't
again?
you know about Orgone blasters?
What do you mean now? They were before.
Well, not the way that Jose shows them. Have you seen Jose's video?
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah.
That's basically a sunset.
All right.
Do you not think?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it looked good. Yeah. No, I'm not being whatever.
Have you ever tried
Right.
dispersing chemtrails with Orgone blasters?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
tried
because
that.
I've got a bit of argon blaster in my cupboard.
Serious?
It's
No,
not as
I was
complicated as
joking.
it sounds, actually.
It's
Anthony,
very
but
easy to make one. So
I was being just as facetious as you. Yeah, I keep a spare argon blaster lying around.
yeah, but you probably don't even know what it is.
I do
right?
know what it
You're
is.
right, I
That's-
don't know what
I
it
knew I was being facetious, Owen. I know it's not as complicated as it sounds. I was still just being facetious because it is just funny. It sounds funny.
So you think it's bullshit? Or...
No, I don't think it's bullshit. I've seen plenty of videos on it, and yes, I understand the
Right. So
principles
if
and
the
I've seen it
chemtrails
work.
are in the way of the moon,
Wait.
then use
No,
it.
it's just
Apply technology. Come on.
Indeedy.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Arwin and Sleeping Warrior. Good to have you all.
Yo, yo.
hello. What?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good evening, good
Yo.
morning, wherever you may be.
What?
Argon blasters at the ready. So be discussed-
Against chemtrails.
Set to stun.
Anybody seen any signs of the moon?
Well, this is what I'll lead in with that. So before the show started, we were discussing how we could disperse some of the horrible chemtrail mess that's going to be covering up the moon over the next 3 days, which is very frustrating, given that we spent all day yesterday plugging the idea that people should be going out and taking pictures of the new moon, which we can't see. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense if you've been watching. If you haven't, then it probably makes no sense at all. But there we go. So off the back of that, Arwin explained something about an argon blaster, which sounds far more complicated than it is, but if Arwin can give a few details of what he's talking about, just so the audience understand. Go ahead, Arwin.
All right, yeah, argon blaster. Oh man, it's been a while. It's basically a very basic way to create like a conduit of energy that is supposedly tapping into the argon energy that is naturally present, or you could call it the ether. It's quite mystical, but the funny thing is that it kind of works. It yields measurable results, as it were. So it does something with energy. And what it is basically how I learned to do it is you take like resin, I think, like casting epox stuff, and you put metal filings, or was it copper, in it, and yeah, you can shape it into a tube, whatever, and then it is set
Who's
as
banging
an argon
around?
blaster, when you finish that,
Hold on, Arwin, I can't
you
hear
can
anything.
basically
Arwin,
direct
hold
it
on.
to the
I
sky,
can't hear
and that
anything.
will
Someone's banging
disperse
around.
chemtrails.
Arwin, someone's banging around. I can't hear anything. Who's banging around?
Dodgy Travis, I've muted him. It's all right. No one knows what an argon blaster is anyway. Thanks for the.
No, I learned about it
I,
in the early 2000s, basically.
I
so
put
it's
myself
been a
on
while.
mute.
You didn't?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I muted you twice. You unmuted yourself.
Oh man.
Are you a troll,
Sorry.
Travis?
Sorry, guys.
So, about that moon. No one's going
Right.
to see the moon for 3 days now. Well, between 3 and 4 days. I don't know exactly how many days, but no one's going to see it. At dawn, at noon, at dusk, no one is going to see the moon. And on their model, it doesn't go missing. They say it does go missing because there's not enough light from the sun. But it is hitting it. We should see a crescent, and no one is going to see it. So I challenge anybody to go outside right now, and if anybody can see the moon, it's going to be right close to the sun. Not right on top of the sun yet. It's not there yet, but it's getting towards it. Good luck finding that, and then good luck with the explanation. Sly Sparkane, did anybody watch Nathan, did you see Globebusters last night?
I did.
Did you see the article or the response to Sly?
Well, I didn't know what Sly's original terms and conditions were, but he essentially made it impossible for his channel to ever get deleted by virtue of the conditions that he laid down. So,
well, what he did was he gave Bob kind of 5 days to do a 3D animation or a small scale representation of. And I mean, the problem is the Colorado, the Flat Earth, the International Flat Earth Conference, the second of its kind in Denver, Colorado, is currently right in the middle of it's on the dawn of happening. It's either next week or the week after or whatever. And Bob's got about 15 gypsies living in his house with him and boxes everywhere. And to be honest, to be fair to Bob, the chances of him responding with what Sly wanted at this time of the year is basically zero. But he gave him a 40-minute slot on the show. Shout out to Eru for doing the longest demonstration or presentation I have ever seen. I managed to get to and from Manchester Airport in the time that Eru took doing his presentation on refraction. So shout out to Eru. But anyway, point was, Bob's not going to be able to do what he wanted in this short space of time, but he did say that he would come back to him. But he gave him must have been a 30-minute slot on the problems with the original assertion made by Sly, how it can be interpreted both ways in any event, and basically that the EQ mount does on a flat plane perfectly what that he says it doesn't. Now, he hasn't demonstrated it, and that was part of the request from Sly, but it doesn't change the fact that as far as I can tell, and I mean, I'm not skilled on this and I'm not professing anything, as far as I can tell, it's perfectly explained on a flat plane. And I don't know that it is. I don't know that it's not. I was watching it with interest because I might learn something myself. But the point is that because he didn't demonstrate it in 3D, right, in CAD of some kind, Sly's sheep are all claiming or bleating a victory because they didn't demonstrate it. But none of them are realizing that he didn't have a lot of time to prepare for it. He's in the middle of doing the second International Flat Earth Conference in Denver, Colorado. And Sly's just not high on the list, but he still gave him a 40-minute response addressing why the claim fails in the first place. But for some reason, all of his sheep are still bleating that there was some kind of victory for Sly there. And I'm like, are you guys retarded?
Well, what
are
is
you
that
literally
victory?
Retarded?
What is the victory? So let's pretend.
The
I'll just let me clarify a little bit. Hold on. So let's pretend for a second that Bob failed. I know. I watched the show. He didn't fail. He just addressed whatever was asked in the best way he could. However, if they're to assert that he has failed, and we'll go along with it just for the sake of this example, what does that prove for them? Is therefore the assertion that the equatorial mount proves a spherical Earth? Is that the assertion?
It's to do with it being on one axis of movement. What they do is they lock 3 or 4 axes, and then the other axis is basically
sorry to cut you off. I get all that. Sorry, I get all that. I don't want to reiterate to the audience because it's tedious. What's the assertion based on pass or fail from Bob of Globebusters? What's the conclusion they can draw?
What's the assertion of Bob?
No. So let's pretend Bob fails. So there's an impossible task laid down. It excluded perspective. It was ludicrous. But let's just pretend for a second that they claim victory. Bob didn't do what I asked. That would be the victory, right? Fine. Okay. What does that prove? What is their claim based on pass or fail from Bob, or regardless of what Bob does, what a telescope mount actually achieves in terms of proving the shape of the Earth? What's the actual claim they're making off the back?
Their claim is that because it can match. They say that it can. What's the word? Follow a celestial object using just one axis of movement, which is impossible on a flat plane, because with perspective things rise to your eye at, like above your head on the vertical axis, but travel left to right across the axis left to right. But that equatorial mount has got 4 axes of movement, and they lock 3 of them, leaving 1 to play with. And Bob's saying that that's important because the ones that are locked are the ones that are perspective. The ones that's not locked is the lateral left to right, which we would still see on the flat plane either way. As far as I understand it, that's what he was basically saying. But because it's only on the one axis, it's not up and down as well. They're claiming that that can't be done on a flat plane. But I don't think it's true in the first instance. But to be honest, I don't really understand how
that's probably the answer. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you all the time. So their claim is it doesn't work on a flat plane. That's their claim. So that's not really a claim. Are they therefore claiming that it proves the sphere?
Their claim is, as far as I understand it, if it doesn't work on a flat plane, it can't be a flat plane. In other words, they are disproving a flat plane analogy.
So
but they're basing their claim on their presumption that the Earth is not flat. So it's like a mind
That's
twist.
what I was trying to get to, Arwin. Exactly. I'm trying to lead Anthony to say exactly that. It would be far quicker if there was a baller on the panel, because they'd have just said, yeah, of course, that means it's a sphere. And I can say, oh, right, well, the conclusion is drawn based on the radius value that's presupposed when the actual mount was made in the first place. And you're going to use that presupposition.
I don't think the claim is that it's a sphere because of it. I think the claim is that it doesn't work if the Earth's flat.
But they're just lights in the sky. I mean, regardless of what they do.
They only say that because they presume that the Earth is not flat. So, yeah, you're not seeing it because the Earth is not flat, so you're not going to get to see it. But if it were to be flat, then you wouldn't see this. That's their reasoning. It's total doublethink.
The whole only works on a sphere is the begging the question fallacy. So, when presented, it becomes a formal logical fallacy. It becomes affirming the consequent. If we can track the stars through one axis only using an equatorial mount telescope, then the Earth is a sphere. The Earth is a sphere because we can track these stars with an equatorial mount with a telescope on it. So
I honestly don't know I don't understand the claim in the first place. I'm not the best one to particularize their claim on this. As far as I understand, it can't be operated like this if the Earth's flat. That's the way I understand it. If that's wrong, shoot me. But as far as I understand it, that's the claim. And Bob spent 40 minutes on it, 35, 40 minutes on it, and basically ripped it a new one and spent way more time on it than what he really needed to. But he wanted it to be comprehensive and fair play. But Sly really doesn't deserve it with the way he is. I agree with Bob. He's a cook. He's a mainstream cook, and he goes beyond dishonest, in my opinion. So I'm surprised he really got the shout out, but he plays the victim card, doesn't he? If he doesn't get what he wants, he plays the victim card and then like criticizes Bob for being a shill or whatever. So Bob felt obligated to respond, but I'm pretty sure that Bob will be able to, once he gets this people, whoever it is, to model it for him, he'll be able to do exactly what Sly wanted him to do. But will it be acknowledged? Will it balls? We'll still have to put up with Sly.
Fair enough. Right,
I'm not the best place for it. I just know that he spent a lot of time on it in Globe Buses. It was in the last 40 minutes of the show yesterday, and it's really worth watching because it basically addresses this claim. And when you watch it and you see how many ways that it was destroyed, it's basically not good for the ball earthers. But for some reason, all Sly sheep on his channel are all claiming a victory because he didn't demonstrate it on an animated thing, which he said he can't do, which is on short notice, which is. You've got to give the guy credit, right? You can't expect something done straight away when it's not his skill. Sure, Sly can play with this, and you know he can assert his prowess using 3D Max or whatever it's called. But that doesn't mean that everybody else is skilled at that particular bit of software. So it's not something that Bob can be expected to do within 10 minutes, like it can be expected of Sly. So it's really one-sided in terms of the challenge that he's given, and they don't seem to be giving Bob the credit he deserves for the response he gave, and somehow declaring a victory. And I'm like, How on earth was that perceived as a victory? It's nonsense. They should all be ashamed of themselves, but they're all too stupid to realise.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Sounds like the usual baller hand wave dismissal to me.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was, a hand wave dismissal, and doing what Wallace did on Bedford Level's experiment, claiming a victory to which he wasn't entitled. It's nonsense. It's literally nonsense, but it's what ballers are like these days. They're desperate to cling to anything. Wolfie asked me a question on Sly's channel. I posted a pokey proddy message to Sly saying, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to see your channel still here, Sly." Just to see what he'd do like. And I got a response back off Wolfie, and his question was basically, let me ask you a serious question. Do you think that Bob was able to satisfactorily answer the posed question? I'll read his question so I don't butcher it. But my response is comprehensive, and they'll just ignore it. But here we go. Wrong video. Ignore that. There we go. So my comment to him was, I was surprised to see you still here. How you doing, buddy? And then Wolfie says, genuine question. Do you truly believe Bob demonstrated the operation of an EQ mount correctly? And my response was, honestly, he gave Sly far more attention than he deserved. I watched all of his response, and you have to accept that demanding 3D animations in less than a week, whilst the second International Flat Earth Conference of Denver, Colorado, is not going to feature highly on his to-do list right now. He said he'll come back to that, and I think that's more than accommodating given the unfortunate timing. To answer your question, my position is that I don't really understand the EQ mount claim properly enough, and I don't really think it proves anything anyway. To spend any time thinking about it, I see the EQ claim as akin to the curvature calculators in that they are most likely accounting for perspective of the sky to the observer rather than the point that is being made of them. Bob went through a boatload of reasons why the assertion fails in the first instance when he compared it to the other telescopes and their assumptions, and I don't really see any room for doubt. My issue with the claim, Wolfie, is there are two. One, just because the telescope drops behind the horizon and then goes under your arse does not mean that the sun is doing that. And then I gave a reason for it. And then the second one, I said it's computer controlled. I said it's not tracking the sun. Once you lock on your target, you can put the lens cap back on the telescope so that the telescope sees nothing at all, and it will still act as though it's got the lens cap off. This proves that it's not tracking anything, and it is following a computer algorithm to that effect. And then I went on a bit more, but I mean, I can't understand how Wolfie doesn't realize that the Earth's flat, because he's a pilot, right? So pilots have they see the flat horizon all the time, and they've never questioned it. But he puts a lot of weight to this WGS-84, doesn't realize that it's an overlay and it can be any shape. And so long as the WGS-84 has got grid lines to it, it can literally be a tablecloth over a table. And in the same way, it can be a handkerchief over a football. It doesn't matter what the shape is. It'll just overlays on top of it. And it's the lattice work underneath that's the reference point, not the shape. And he doesn't understand that, or he literally ignores it. So I struggle with what's his face, Wolfie, anyway, because I just don't think he's honest. But I don't think Sly's honest, and I don't think any of them on their side are honest.
Hey, Jim.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Hey, Jim.
How y'all doing? I put a photo of the moon up there on your Skype, but it's really low quality. But it's a few minutes before or an hour before sunrise, and it is fully in the path of the sun this morning.
Oh, you can still see it, can you?
Hey, Event.
Yeah, definitely. It's very dark here still.
So,
hey, Blame.
We're not quite there yet.
Hold on a second, Anthony. Hey, Blame. You hear us?
Good afternoon. Hello, gentlemen. How you doing?
He did
Very
speak
well.
then.
Hey, Physics. And hey, is that Earth Flattener?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good to have you.
Hey.
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, hold on a second. Hey, Blame Me. How you doing? Oh,
It's got to be a Trolloc out on that.
yeah, it's taken Arwin with
Goodbye,
him.
blame me.
Oh, Arwin's been taken out. All right, okay.
Yeah, that'll happen. So I don't know if hopefully we'll get Arwin back on a different account.
You must have been quick to get Arwen out.
What were we talking about? Everyone's now gone on mute, of course.
Well, Jim joined, didn't he?
Indeed.
Hi.
How you doing? Singing.
Sing
Any
song.
song if is Earth Flattener. I was just kicked.
Oh, how you doing, Flattener?
Yeah, I was just bringing out that that it's dark here in California, and the moon is a little sliver, and it's fully in the path of the sun today. So the sun's nowhere near yet, but it looks like that's exactly where it comes up.
Well, say that again. The moon's a thin slither, and it's fully in the path of the sun. Did you say?
That's what it looks like where the sun comes up at this time of year, and I watch every morning. It looks like that's pretty much almost exactly where the moon is right now. But of course, in an hour or so, I won't be able to see it. But my camera is just so cheap that it wasn't a very good shot. But it is there over in Skype, so you can see it. It's directly to the east.
Hello, Roxanne.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hi. Thank you for
Hi.
having me.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. There's a lot of pictures there. There are a lot of pictures.
There is. This is the first time we've met, isn't it? On here.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Who's giving me the feedback?
Probably me, knowing my luck.
It might well be you. Watch page.
I don't have a watch page on. I just clicked it from the link, so I've only got it on Google Hangouts on my screen.
Could just be your speakers a bit too loud. Hey, Eric.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, we're getting like quite a lot of feedback from you for some reason, Roxanne. Are you using your speakerphone on your phone or is it a headset?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Oh, it seems to be working now.
I think it should just be.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just when you first join, I think.
Okay.
I thought they'd fix that. Anyway, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
So what we're going to have is here, we're going to have a problem here because Arwen's been kicked. We could do with one more place because there's quite a lot of people in, and now without Arwen, I'm on my own.
Well, Arwen hopefully joined with a different account.
Has he got another account?
Yeah.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Arwinian and Gravity.
Not down for that account though. Is Arwen rejoining? B50, who's that?
Ignore the back chat.
This is going to go wrong quickly, Nathan.
No. Ignore the back chat.
No, but there's like 3 unknown accounts, right?
No, that's Earth Flattener sorting it out. It's just on the case.
Okay. So are we back on track now?
We are, apart from the feedback we're getting. Need to turn your speakers down. Or go on mute, that works too. There we go. Hey, Arwen and Gravity.
Hello, alrighty.
Perfect. We've got a full panel anyway now, so
I didn't even have the chat open and you were gone.
There we go. Full panel. Awesome.
Yay! No more trolls.
Hold on. I still have to get into the back chat. Don't know. Can't.
Yeah, there's no more trolls now. That's all the spaces are taken.
Unless someone drops.
Yeah. Hold on.
Well, that was a nice little interlude. Killed the mood completely.
Yeah, it did.
So did you say, Jim, that you'd put some pictures on someone's Skype?
Well, I just put a fairly low resolution shot, or not the best focus shot in Skype in master in the B area, and I'm trying to get it on here as well. But my camera, this phone's really inexpensive. But it's a view to the east. It's very dark here in California still, and this sliver of the moon is directly in front of the path of where the sun will be coming in here pretty soon. So it's a pretty good support for what's been said, that it appears the sun, or that this thing might actually go behind the sun.
Okay, I've got it up for the audience. It is teeny tiny, but at least you've caught it, and you can definitely see the crescent of it. You can't see
you can stretch it out a little bit. It is 13 megabits. So
yeah, I've zoomed right in. Yeah, it definitely it's a lot smaller when I'm not zoomed in. But yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
I offered people if they want to buy me a P900 or a P1000, feel free.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Jose sucked the life out of that one. Probably the last one to be able to swindle a free P900.
Speaking of Jose, have you seen his most recent video, Nathan?
Yeah, I've mirrored it.
I know you mirrored it. You're supposed to pretend that you haven't seen it so we can talk about it.
No? What's that video you mentioned?
So, for those that haven't seen it, make sure you check his channel out, or it's on Nathan's as well. Basically, what Jose's done is he's gone in his supermarket where we know there are very flat floors, right? No, definitely no curvy floors. And he's put a light right down the other end, and the light completely goes behind the curve of the earth. And it basically now gives us an explanation for why sunsets happen, because if you draw the drawing orthographically, you've got a flat floor, and then you've got Jose putting his light at the end, and you've got a direct line of sight to it. But for some reason, and it's something to do with the angle of observation, when you drop that light into the floor, for some reason it appears to set just like the sun. And it kind of now gives us a new perspective in terms of how the sun seems to set. So it's like, how many people are now going to have to go and repeat this and see whether or not this happens everywhere? Because if this validates up, boys and girls, it means that the sun now can set on a flat earth. And therefore, one of the
it's setting behind the obstruction.
Well, I think we talked about it yesterday, that it appears to do something a bit different when you're in an airplane, for example. It doesn't really set. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, cool.
Bendy floor.
Wow, yeah, I see it now.
What sorcery is this?
Diffraction.
I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm in Walmart.
So yeah, the sun is definitely going beneath or behind the obstruction zone from this diffraction before it disappears from view all outright.
I guess that palette must bend as well. Must not be level.
Hope we don't get
It's
a
all
copyright
art-based
strike.
architecture.
Get a copyright strike from the grocery store.
Whose video again was this? Was this Jojo's?
Say again.
What is it? What kind of light? Is that a flashlight or like a
phone light? It's just on his phone.
lantern?
It's just his phone. I'll show you the next video and it'll be a bit clearer. So this was a good lead into it, because as he walks down in his original video, which is about 3 minutes long, he lifts up his trouser leg. Now you can probably see from this angle that he's got very squashed, because I've zoomed right in with digital zoom, obviously not optical zoom, to get the effect. I'll just bring up his second video though. Just give me a second.
That was amazing.
So yeah, like I say, he lifts up his trouser leg, and you assume that he's going to be trying to get his shoes to disappear, which obviously do, but you're like, oh, it's so difficult to see. But when he does it with the light, you're like, oh, that's priceless, that's genius.
Are you going to play the second one, Nathan?
Yeah, just give me a second, I'm just queuing it up.
So obviously you can see that his light is quite low on that camera.
So I got the flashlight on the phone. And then I got this Coca-Cola can. So let's do it.
And here we have sunsets.
Then this one he does something slightly different, so he comes back to the phone and does like I did, which is to say he raises and lowers the camera. But he didn't need this length. You'll see in a second, he does it a second time when he's only maybe 2/3 of the way back down again. So he lifts it and lowers it here, and you see the same effect, so it disappears as it gets the camera nice and low.
Anthony, does his video have music background? Because it's maybe you can mute it.
Yeah, sorry, I can't. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just kind of drowning you out.
But yeah, you could have done it from, what's that? You know, not even very far at all.
So that is a really easy to repeat explanation for how the sun actually may set on the flat plane, because if you were to draw that orthographically, there would be no obstructions, and for some reason the sun appears to set. I mean, the light. So massive shout out to Jose for that, because now everyone's going to try doing that with a phone light. Dead easy.
I'm doing it right now.
My phone's ringing. I'll be straight back.
Let's see it. If you're doing it right this second, literally just turn your camera on and we'll do it live.
Can you get it trying to switch the view, right?
Yeah, can you turn it sideways? Because obviously you can't get the lens low enough, can you?
Okay, so down at the end there is where I've got my camera and my other phone. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a phone as level to the floor as I can. I've got my P900 right next to it. I zoomed in with my P900. This is my second time, so I've got one shot already. But the second one, I zoomed in on a particular place so that it would be actual size. So that's what I'm doing right now. There's some people in the alley. You can see it. But basically, I've got the light right there. And I've just been going up maybe every 50 feet or so and then dropping the light and raising it. But there's a guy standing right in my way right now. So
I love it, man. Getting so much more methodical with the way people do this.
So this is about 100. It's about 100 yards from end to end. Yeah, that guy's squatting in the way.
That doesn't matter.
It just
turn
adds
the
to
camera on
the
his
echo
side.
when there's a bloke gets in the way.
This is where you want to be lowering it, because it's useful having people like that. There we go. Is the lens at the lowest point on the camera, or is it the top off?
Yeah, I've got an otter box on it, so whatever, a couple millimeters of rubber.
Sure.
Okay, so he's moved out of the way.
But the lens is on the bottom edge of the camera, not the top edge, yeah?
Oh nope. Oh, good call. I thought it was. There we go.
You can tell I've done this before. There you go. No shoes on the guy. Where's his shoes gone? Why is there no shoes on that
so
dude?
I'm gonna raise it up.
Oh, shoes. I see shoes now. They came up over the curve.
Can you pinch to zoom? Because it won't affect the outcome, because it's the aperture that will dictate this effect. So if you pinch to zoom on that dude,
the resolution is a bit
it might not let you. If you're streaming, it may not let you.
No, it's not letting me.
Bastards.
It's not letting me.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't even let you focus while you're live streaming. Oh no! Where's his shoes?
Yeah, he's definitely missing his shoes.
Let's make this a bit bigger for the audience.
All right, how about this? There's a guy down there walking away from us.
All these people thinking these guys are nutters.
Don't mind me.
There we go.
That man has no feet.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting observation.
Very cool.
It's a brilliant observation. That's
Love
awesome.
It. So simple,
It's
you can do it
and direct.
live.
I got these knuckleheads in my way. I'm at the very end.
Say it a
Not
bit
you,
louder,
ma'am.
I would.
You're not the knucklehead.
tell her the S flat.
No, try it with these dudes.
The
See
Earth-
what happens. This might be a good distance. So turn it on its side again so the lens is at the bottom edge, and then see if you can do it with these guys.
Oh, these two here?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I would say they're like maybe...
That's all right. Just raise and lower once
like
you can see there.
40
There you go.
feet.
Can't believe it doesn't let us focus. What is? It's like
It feels very much like we're watching a Rancy production at the minute.
No more yours.
That was good timing. There we go. Guy at the bottom.
It's out.
Slow to them. This is great. If you can steadily as you possibly can raise it.
I think it probably has to do with the type of lighting.
Oh,
timing.
I'm sure he's done that on purpose. That
He
bloke.
did. He knew it.
Because of the lamps in the ceiling.
Is your P900 going to go walkabout?
Yeah, right.
Might be the time.
Okay, I
just
can-
raise
I-
once more as high as you can.
I can still see it. I've got it set off to the side. You'd have to be looking down. It's in the corner. So
That's it. Now raise. Now that guy's in the aisle. That's perfect.
I tell you something, Nathan. Doesn't it look like the shelves are curving?
It does. That's perfect.
All right, that guy dropped out, so I'm going to drop my light again right now.
Look at them shelves on the left. That lower shelf. That lower shelf looks like it's curving down.
You're not wrong.
It's curving over R.
All right.
R-based
Let's see
design.
how that works.
That was ace. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, awesome.
Job well done.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm going to snip
Live.
that out.
A flat Earth debate.
That deserves a flat earth round of applause. That was really good, man. That was awesome.
Let's introduce Roxanne. She hasn't spoke yet. Let's get her to mic up and say hello. Are you there?
I'm here.
So tell us a little bit about you, Roxanne, because I've only found your channel in the last maybe 2-3 weeks. I didn't know you
right.
existed until very recently, and I don't understand how it's the case that when I went into your chat and I looked around the names that were in your chat, I didn't
Yeah.
recognize anybody's names.
Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, where are all these people, and how is it that these overlaps have not happened? Because they should do. We all should know each other, and I just didn't know about you until very recently. So just tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing.
Okay, so I've been making content now for probably just between 6 to 8 months. My conversations about, questioning what I'd been taught and knowing that I'm not living on what I was taught I was living on, brought me to the point where I am now. So I've gone from making content to going out and doing a little bit of all these politically incorrect words nowadays. I'm not really supposed to say group. I'm not supposed to say a lot of things. So, I've met up with a bunch of individuals and gone out onto the streets and done activism with a bunch of other individuals. Is that the right way to say it? I don't know.
So
If I say the word group, I might be accused of being a cult member or something like that. So I've been trolled quite heavily for it. So yeah, I've been pretty much trying to make an appearance at Speaker's Corner on a regular basis. There's already a lot of people that do that. So with that being said, I've kind of collaborated with quite a few people that have felt the need to do the same. And we managed to do every week over the summer, every Sunday in August, from June the 24th. Quite a few other people were involved as well. A guy called Dave Mannell, another guy called Ruben, few various people that are in the proximity of London, and then keep it up the last Sunday of every month, and intermittently there was a Globe Live tour, so I got involved with that as well. That just completed on Saturday, and now it's just going back to Speaker's Corner at the last Sunday of each month, and trying to wake everyone up like everyone else is. I suppose it's the best summary I can give it.
So I'm assuming with activism, you kind of you were motivated by who? Who was your inspiration? Was it Del?
Yeah. Bit of both, really. Motivated by I share the same anger that a lot of people share. So I share the same anger that I saw Del having about the subject, and it resonated me seeing how Harry went out onto the streets and spoke to people. So yeah, they definitely went into inspiring me to get to the point I'm at now. And I think that's what it's all about, inspiring individuals to take it upon themselves to do what they feel is right. And what I felt was right. I've grown up in London. This is the city I've grown up in. I've been schooled here. I've lived here. I've had my kids here. I still live here. And so I thought, well, what better place to go and have this discussion and make it socially acceptable at Speaker's Corner, because right now it's not socially acceptable on the streets, and it needs to be. To have a civilized discussion or argument, first of all, needs to be socially accepted.
Yeah, but
I think do you have a guy? Did you have a guy from like a Latino guy from New York with you guys?
Yeah, Richard Lopez.
Okay, yeah, I think yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
he's gone out into Times Square a few times to go and try and wake the masses up in Times Square, New York.
Okay.
And he's on a bit of a mission with another set of individuals, Marilyn, a few other people as well, who are just really passionate about getting out onto the streets, because it's the one place that's not censored as heavily as the internet. The streets can kind of reach people out there.
What kind of reaction have you had? Have you had like good and bad, or is it generally neutral? Or
probably about 6 months ago, it was more bad than good. The reaction, there was a lot of like horrendous name calling and obscenities getting thrown at us. But I'm happy to say that the interactions I'm having throughout the daytime now, the majority of the interactions are positive ones, not negative ones.
But just while we're on the
people
subject,
either seem to know, or they know about it already, or they already know about the lie in the first place.
What kind of horrible insults were getting thrown your way? Just give us a few examples. I just want to.
Right. Are you on crack? Are you taking Molly? What drugs are you on? You're a lunatic. Effing and blinding. I was speaking to a lovely man from Barbados in Speaker's Corner. He was quite elderly, bless him. And as I was talking to him, someone else got so freaking triggered. They attempted to punch me and take the phone that I was holding, which wasn't even my phone. It was Harry's. It was not my phone. I was like, "What are you doing?" And the knee-jerk verbal reaction from me was probably not the best choice of words to use. But it's I think most of us that have gone out have had some kind of experience of someone getting physically triggered by it.
So there's not been any scraps, no
assault
fights
without actually interacting verbally first. That's just assault.
Yeah, there has been a few scraps. I think there has been a few scraps along the way, but not so much with the women that have been out there. I think I haven't heard. I've been out there with other women, with Dave Mannell's wife and Ruben's partner as well. And I know that Nora has gone out there, and Marilyn's gone out there, and Lisa's gone out there. Victoria Rose has gone out there, and none of the girls have really turned around and said, "Oh wow, I had this horrendous, event where this person did this." So no, not really so much the women, but I think definitely Harry's and John Thor's definitely gone through a couple of incidents on road where people have got physically triggered with them, and Jason as well. There was, I think it was somewhere now down near Taunton that they were, where they kind of got like overswayed by a group of people that were just starting to be a bit physically threatening and trying to run off of the banners and destroy things.
Was it Antifa type people or older people?
Like a bunch of hooligans.
Oh right, yeah. No, actually I wasn't there, so I have to ask. I'm not sure. The one down near Devon, I don't think that was live. I think it was after they stopped streaming and it all went a bit pear-shaped.
Can you just
can
you repeat
speak
your question,
to them and get
Eric?
the details of that.
You want to repeat your question, Eric?
Well, I just wonder if it's more the Antifa, PC, SJW, or is it older folk like getting physically triggered?
Yeah, most of the country, it was kind of a cross section of people, but more so in the university towns. Oxford and Cambridge was a real eye opener. I mean, there was like some professional hecklers, some real life trolls, and some real kind of indoctrinated, regurgitative human beings. Quite interesting.
Like, that's a perfect sum up of the social justice warrior types.
Hold on. Oxford and Cambridge are obviously both university residents. So, just to contrast, can you kind of explain the difference between what you got in Oxford versus what you got in, say, London or Bristol or wherever?
Right. Yeah. So in Oxford, we had scholars and learned individuals coming out to fight their argument and fight it wholeheartedly, as far as they were concerned. And dedicate an hour going back and forth, pleading or appealing to us to believe what they believe. Whereas in London, am I right to say there is more of a scholared approach when you approach the university towns? I think they kind of definitely stand behind their degrees to the letter. They don't deviate off it one bit. There's nothing other than a programmed response coming from them. They're just regurgitating what they've been taught.
I would have protested against it as well back if I'd have been 10 years ago. I'd have been calling you guys morons, and I wouldn't have took you seriously, because there's definitely an element of a social side to flat Earth, that people like make friends with each other, even if they don't necessarily agree on all points. They seem to be like united as a group, like as a gang. And when you see that cohesion from the outside looking in, it looks like it's a cult. They don't realize that it's not actually a cult. It's just a friendship that's there that doesn't exist outside of it. That wouldn't exist outside of it ordinarily. But when they perceive cult and everybody else realizes it's simply friendship, that's the divide that splits society as a norm with brainwashed. And the minute they think that you're in a cult because of your friendship with your peers that you're in a group with, the minute they think you're in a cult, that's when you've lost them. They're just too far gone.
There is no cult without a cult hierarchy. And that's
I mean, Roxanne, I would say that, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but this, anybody doing street activism and banner type stuff, I mean, that's kind of the first regardless what the topic is. That's sort of going to be with the natural, which is why I lean towards more like just being in a pub or whatever, a coffee shop, and just more one-on-one. But
you know what? No, but what I think there's room for it all. I think if people can take the truth, put it in a package, and put the prettiest bow on it they possibly can, and deliver that package to people in whatever shape or form they can, preferably in human form, human to human interaction, I think is the best thing. I think if you can bring it out with the mummies after school in the coffee shop, if you can go to the local Sainsbury's, and I used to kind of for my peers that weren't as confident to kind of deliver the message themselves, I used to just say to them, well, just style it out that the person you've just walked away from just said it to you, that it's not you saying it. So you can kind of approach the girl at Starbucks and go, sorry, did you hear what those women were talking? Have you heard about that flat earth stuff? And just plug it that way. Go to the doctors and say, the Uber driver was just talking to me about that, and maybe they didn't, but you're still plugging it, and then it's not like you're getting shot down as the messenger. And so I feel like whatever way you can slip it in is perfect. And I feel like activism is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody, and I know it's not of everybody's cup of tea, and I appreciate that. Because I think nothing is what it's going to be without the full spectrum of everyone's opinion. If everyone was of the same opinion, then we'd all have one thought thinking, and that wouldn't be okay. And I think, like you said, Anthony, I think we can all start a platform of a conversation based off of the fact that we're not living on what we've been taught we're living on. Anything other than that is everyone's own personal pursuit of truth, I suppose. But
what I like about that description is that you're presenting it with a bow on. Well, can you imagine me and Nathan out on the streets, right? If we were doing activism, right, we'd get somebody that come across us and said something silly. And me and Nathan would be like, hang on, we can't call this guy a moron. He's probably going to start attacking us, but I'm going to
you need police helmets.
Yeah, we need the police.
And a shield.
I don't know. I don't behave any different in person.
They're a slat. You're a moron.
Well, I think it's important to remember, like, we have to take into account the mindset. Like, for example, in London and New York, it's probably not a good idea to bring banners out on Monday rush hour. Like, people are in a bitter mood already and hating their lives. Of course.
Yeah, there's definitely no time and a place for it. I've gone, my two local town centres for where I am are Richmond and Kingston, and I've done it with the banners in both. That's where I've grown up. I've been here since I was 4.
Right.
Do you know what's really
cool? I can tell you this: there's no day of the week it's appropriate to do it where I live. No one's ever going to be interested 7 days of the week.
Asia, he's been staying at backpacker places, so he gets a lot of, the Western millennials, and he's been doing a lot of stuff. And like back when when you're young and traveling, I think you're in a different mindset, so that might be a good place.
I think the best time is early in the morning, probably.
What's
Not on a
really good
Monday
about
in the
activism?
city. I don't know.
What's really good about activism in terms of?
Is that okay?
Go on.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Roxanne, I really love your approach. You've been doing it for a while. You've met a lot of interesting people. Steering away from the people you've had arguments with and trolls and so on, the good conversations. What is your concise question? How do you get that first crack into the shell of, trying to destroy that ball? You've obviously, you've been doing it for a while. How do you quickly get in there? What's the opening kind of question that you have, or how do you start your conversations?
Right. So when I'm speaking to people on the road, yeah?
Yeah.
So my first question is just take me as a 5-year-old. Just pretend I'm 5 and tell me why you believe you live on a ball, but tell me it as if I'm 5. Explain it to me.
So you're basically going up to people sometimes and you're asking them to explain to you in very basic terms
layman's
paradigm, that spinning ball, and
why am I on a ball? Make it believable, like really believable. Give me some evidential talk as if I'm 5 and make it evidential and do it in a couple of sentences without using a belief system.
Well, I'd say it's not that hard. You just tell a story. In this case, what worked for me early on is just explaining, the explorers, they went around the world, and because they traveled around, they concluded that it was a ball because of how everything connects.
That's right. And I think
you'll believe it as a 5-year-old. Absolutely, you will.
Of course. And I think you're absolutely right. But again, I think it comes down to the program response. When someone is not ready for that question and doesn't see it coming a million miles off, you'd be surprised how many people do
struggle.
I mean, you can hear a pin drop. You could literally hear a pin drop for about 90 seconds. And then you'll normally get a programmed, sorry, what do you mean? Adam and I did it to the guy in Nottingham. He was trolling us differently and throwing all sorts of obscenities out. And I gave him that question and it stopped him in his tracks. And he went, well, I'm just not going to have this conversation. And I just thought, why? Because I've asked you to just simply explain why you believe it. And you do believe it. You don't know it. You believe it. Why?
Has the way that you
why not?
Has the way that you've kind of approached people changed over, say, the few months that you've been doing this?
Yeah.
What's the experience been like? Have you kind of condensed your arguments down and become, obviously with experience, you can wield the sword
streamlining it a little bit. Yeah, streamlining it a little bit. So my go-tos are things that I've looked into personally.
What are your main strikes with your sword? I think that's the best way to do it.
So the main things that I'm into are history probably within the last 100 years and the Antarctic Treaty, the extremities of where we can go as free individuals. And various other subjects that go into that, the Trilateral Commission, and so I've been classed as maybe when I'm out on the streets, everyone seems to go, "Oh right, so you're political," and I'm like, no, why am I political? Because I've gone down that road. So maybe I'm just not more the maths and measurements of things. Once I'd realised I'd been lied to, I wanted to go into the inner workings of it. I wanted to go into the power structure and how they, because I realised I'm in an open prison.
Yeah.
I'm not free.
So would you say, because the stuff I've seen of you before, a lot of your material was kind of the NASA fake pictures. Are you kind of steering away from just talking about images and going more into philosophical?
Well, yeah, I think maybe for me, I've been with the subject for, even though I've only been making content for a few months, I've been with the subject itself for a few years, like everyone else. So for me, I've kind of, maybe like some other people, I want to go past, not the basics, because I feel like other people are better at doing that than me. And I wouldn't call them basics, but I'd call it, the maybe you want to call it the 3-point starter, the observable proofs of why we don't live on a ball. And then after that, people go, well, why and how? How would they do that? How would they pull it off? And for me, that resonates because I was one of those people too. once upon a time, I woke up and then my first question was, well, why are they doing that? Why are they lying? Why can't they just tell us why we're here, who we are, and what we're doing here? Like, why are those three fundamentals the most like sordid grey areas of our reality?
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, how could you possibly hate it? But if you did, hit that dislike button. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!